I don't know.
There we
No,
go.
Much. I know we don't have a lot of time. I was looking the other way when y'all popped up on my TV screen.
that's okay. You've actually got probably about 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't need that long, but thank you. No offense. We all got big days. I got
I
a big
know.
day.
Yeah, I love
But
it.
thank you. Film's
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
Congratulations on opening night Dances with Films with the world premiere. Do no harm. So, what does it mean to each of you to launch the film at this iconic venue like the TCL Chinese Theater?
It's wonderful. It's a huge compliment to get the honor to open the festival and to do it at such an iconic venue, just like you were saying, means a lot. I spent over a decade in the LA area and getting to come back and premiere the film here. Films feels also a bit like coming home.
Oh,
And at the same time, the validation of the process has been every step of the way. Every interaction I've had with actors, interactions I've had with the cinematographer and the editor, and just constantly pinching myself like, I gotta work with these amazing actors, I gotta work with these amazing collaborators. And so it's just one extra piece to really just remind me that it's such an amazing privilege that I get to do this and get to do it with these amazing people.
Yeah, I think, with being in part of an iconic theater, but on top of that, it's gathering of people coming together to celebrate something or to discover something. And working with Chris, I just like you're seeing a filmmaker that's going to go on and do incredible things. This film is incredible. It really blew my mind when I first watched it. Along with working on it, you feel this energy that you're like, I think we're doing something, making something special. And then when you watch and it turns out to be that way, it's you don't get a lot of those moments sometimes because there's so many things that can happen in between. So to be able to screen this and to have this world premiere at TCL is just again, like echoing him, just pinch yourself moment.
yeah. Well, Chris, the title Do No Harm immediately evokes medical ethics and moral dilemmas.
Yeah.
Without giving too much away, what central questions or conflicts does the film explore the most that's in your head?
Yeah, it's a great question. The central conflicts, and it's a question that I do find myself coming back to frequently as a storyteller, allowing that to really be a North Star. You want every decision to channel through something, and really deciding what this film is about, not just narratively, but thematically, is so very important, I think, for a director to decide, because it will help you decide who you should cast, where you should place the camera, why the camera should move like this and not like that. And so, for me, in a lot of ways, baseline, this film was kind of exploring this idea that we all of us make mistakes and we all of us need grace. It doesn't matter where you're at, how incredible of a human you are, what amazing things you do professionally, and those in the healthcare profession do indeed do amazing things. One of my objectives in looking for our leading man is I wanted to find someone that kind of felt like a superhero. You just look at it and go like, yeah, he can take care of things. He can take care of himself and other people. When you look at him and you think this person's superhuman, but then the mission of this film was to peel that back and go, no, no, even the superhumans among us can make mistakes and need grace. And that really was kind of my guiding light and a channel through which all those creative decisions were fed.
And Harry, speaking of that, your character appears to be navigating high stakes, emotionally complex terrain. How did you prepare for this role, and what aspects of the character challenged or excited you the most?
Yeah, coming into this, you get your preparation work, you do all that, and then you obviously you break down the script as much as possible in a short period of time, especially when you're talking about indies. You're not having the luxury of having time on your hands just because we need to go go go. But within the character Sam, he is propelled to go keep moving forward with his day. And a lot of nurses, when especially home health nurses, the traveling nurses, they're just go 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 go. There's no time to breathe. You're almost feeling like you're holding your breath and trying to do everything that you were trained to do, and also be a caretaker, be a listener, a support system for others, while also making their day hopefully a little better than it was yesterday. And that alone was kind of what I carried into this particular character, with having a support system, which was wonderful, like Chris and the rest of the crew, and incredible performers, some local talent and some that talent that I've worked with before, and having that surrounding me, and it was like this sense of trust that I had to be able to move forward and to hold my breath and to feel like I was going to be able to exhale at a certain point. And with the character, unfortunately, he doesn't have that. So it's always like trying to play the opposite of what I knew I had, and trying to go to the extent of almost on the edge of the other side, and to see how far I can go before I fell off.
Yeah, the film feels both intimate and suspenseful. Was the goal to create a psychological thriller or a character study or something that defies the genres altogether?
No, it's a great question. I really was interested in making this a very high stakes drama, a thriller. It's a bit like a Safdie Brothers films, think Uncut Gems, Good Time meets a medical drama. I really wanted to throw you into the stress, the anxiety, the adrenaline shot kind of day that those in healthcare so frequently have, and do so with every cinematic tool in my toolbox, with the way that I moved the camera, the way that we crafted the sound design, the way that we edited the film together. All of that was very much designed to be this heightened experience. While, just like you said, I want it in moments to feel very intimate and very authentic. I also want you to feel like you're in this man's head as he's navigating these incredibly trying situations, trying to figure out what to do, what is the best course of action, how can he take care of those around him, while also taking care of himself and making sure that he's doing all the things that he needs to do in the way that he needs to do them.
Speaking of that, Chris, what was it like directing Harry in this role? Did anything surprise you about his process or performance?
It's the best, the best. I was
It
just
is.
talking with a buddy of mine again last night. We're hanging out together, and he's just saying like you cast like the perfect person for you, Chris, to collaborate with. I'm a very emotional person. I process things. I like to talk about things, and Harry is similar. He likes to think things through and wrestle with things in the best possible way. Neither of us would be content to just show up to set and be like, well, we know the lines, let's just do it. We would endlessly discuss in the right kind of way, how can we plus this scene? How can we make it clear to the audience? How can we make it more exciting and engaging to the audience? And I could not have asked for anything more from a collaborator. And this is my first feature film. And obviously, Harry has worked on numerous television shows and films prior to this. And there's always that small concern in the back of your head, which is, will someone with this much experience want to listen to what I have to say and be willing to follow my lead? And it took me all of 2 seconds to realize that there was no reason to have that fear at all. He was, in the best possible way, so supportive, so trusting, and that really gave me the permission that I needed to have to toss the ball back to him. Now that I knew I was trusted by him, I could go, okay, actually, I'm not sure what to do in this scene. What do you think?
Yeah, we had that happen pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like even the first day, he was the direction that he gave was more of a setup, like allowing me to be like, well, you can go either way with this, but here's the setup. And it was just really nice to have that conversation that didn't go very, like we would wrestle with things, but it wasn't a long process. It was a touch and go, and we knew that there was a limit time. And I think what's nice is, like, especially when you're talking about like an artist, when you're trying to be in a space that's constrained by resources and time and money, you need to move kind of quickly, but at the same time preserve the artistic integrity that I think we both, is really important to us. So, but we also had the other side of like, okay, we need to make this day and not just sit there too long, but also know that we're going to be able to cover the things that we might bite us and later down the road. But I mean, Chris is to get into actor's head, he is an actor himself. So I think is very, very helpful to have that conversation with. So we're speaking the same language, which was nice.
Yeah. Harry, you played a wide range of roles across television and film, from high concept to deeply emotional. How did this role in Do No Harm compare to your past work in projects like Everything Everywhere All at Once or Grey's Anatomy?
I think those, if you go from Everything Everywhere, and even Grey's Anatomy, they all have this sense of groundedness, right? No matter like if it's, if you're talking about this surrealist version of the world, or kind of a heightened side of the medical industry, or you know, and when you're talking about certain surgeons and healthcare workers. But I mean, this particular film, you just kind of it was nice to switch gears and again, like feel like you're just getting pushed forward. You know, there's this sense of like you could settle and like take a character and feel like you know what to do with it. But this, I just felt like it was like this push that was like pushing me towards the right direction. But I had to like grab as much as I could while I was going and running, but also in a lot of ways floating. And this might sound weird, but I felt like I was floating a lot in a way that I was just going with the flow. And sometimes when I'm a guy who like likes to know where I'm going, what I'm doing, how I'm getting there, but to have to let go a little bit and just like work with trusting my gut, trusting the skill sets that I've kind of accumulated over the years, and knowing that when I'm there at that moment in that environment with the people I'm with, I get to make these kind of decisions in a safe environment was really, really helpful. And then that this was a very short, it was like what, 18, 20 days?
17 days.
Oh God, yeah. 17.
Whoa,
I
that's
mean,
all.
a fun little story. I shot this on a layover of from going to Costa Rica to Los Angeles. I just got off the plane instead of getting on the layover because it worked out the date I was had that layover on that flight. That was the day they needed me for just kind of a prep,
Yeah.
which we only had like what 3 days,
Yep.
3 days before prep to be able to shoot this movie because I was heading to China. I was like, I can't. This is very important. I was taking my parents to China. It was very important for me to make that trip because I was taking them to their birthplace, and so I was like, I can't change that. And this movie just fit in that
Slide right in.
pocket,
Yeah.
and I got to just delve in it because the movie just the script touched me, the way his filmmaking style really excited me. And I was like, I have to do this. So my wife had to get on the plane back to LA. She's like, I'm like, bye. I think I'm gonna go shoot a movie. And so that's how this kind of that's how
And
it
now
was
here we
made.
are.
Yeah, now here we are.
So you were really tired in real life. I mean, we were tired. I was
Yeah,
tired
yeah. A
for
lot
you
of some of that
watching
was
this
real.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy, holy. Okay, well, the title and premises suggest layers of tension, ethical ambiguity, and maybe even regret. How did you use cinematography, the sound or pacing to reflect all these emotional themes?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite part of the process as a director. And every director approaches things slightly differently. I tend to do it from, as I like to describe it, a very artsy-fartsy sort of way. I just start to free associate. I think about the verbs and adjectives that you just said, stress, anxiety, moral complexities, and I just start to grab different ideas, abstract though they might be, and then try to make them concrete and make them cinematic. Okay, if the idea of exhaustion can almost feel like you're just kind of floating through your existence. What would that look like visually? And so in that particular instance, I decided to kind of do this very strange idea of was it certain instances of heightened tension and exhaustion, literal elements with around this character began to float, to kind of just, again, draw us into this feeling of just floating through your existence. In other instances, the answers are a little more obvious. In a moment where something terrible happens, the character's world is turned upside down, metaphorically. So what would happen if we turned the camera upside down in those particular instances? And a lot of the phone conversations, I really wanted to ratchet up and heighten the tension to draw you into his perspective of what it might feel like while you're on the phone with someone and they're demanding to know what's happening and what are you doing and how are you going to take care of the situation. It can feel like they're looking right at you, waiting for you to have the answers. And so I decided in those instances, rather than traditionally, as you would traditionally play the phone conversation with them talking like this, I had the other actor look right into the camera to draw you into his perspective. So it was constantly coming back to how can I put you into his shoes with the tools that I have at my disposal, so that you walk away going, yeah, I feel like I have walked a day in this man's shoes.
So what's next for both of you? Any new projects, collaborations, or dream genres you want to explore?
Well, you got a lot of dreams, John.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I'm a busy man. So in the time between we finished filming and now our world premiere, I've already shot and am in the post-production process on a television pilot. It's called Happiest Place. I worked at the Disneyland Resort for over a decade, so it's loosely based off of a lot of my experiences that I had at that place. It pulls from some of the elements found in Do No Harm, that being just the chaos of a place like that you might not expect in the backstage area. And then I'm hard at work on the next feature film, definitely pushing a bit more genre, kind of a supernatural action thriller about a husband and wife having to face the monsters of their past, literally. And so having a lot of fun conceiving of that concept right now and putting it up on the screen.
Yeah, that's super exciting. I just, you know, it's that the different genres is what's really exciting, and blending it together. For me, it's really going back to my dancing days. I want to bring that into narrative. Like the dance films that I enjoyed growing up, the ones that were before me, and just they aren't being made anymore. And you know, those are the ones that kind of made a generation. And decades and decades, we had dance films that kind of reminded us of what that decade was, and we've kind of lost that. So, you know, I had my hand in. I wrote my first feature, and now I'm putting that together, and it's going to be dance based, but more on the narrative side, emphasis on character, more character driven stories. So I really want to start venturing it into kind of really figure out what movement really looks like kind of in the modern days, while still acknowledging and honoring the past of movement and dance, and from all the way back into the Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire days, and kind of moving that forward. So I'm really excited to kind of venture into that space as well.
We need both of those things right now in these days that we're living. So thank you guys so much for these ideas that you're bringing to the screen. And thank you for the time that you took with me today. And we will see you not just virtually, but tonight on that
Oh, yay!
carpet.
I'm really excited to meet you.
Me too. And we are the HollywoodTimes.today and aspiringmagazine.com. And our YouTube is the Hollywood Times Official. And you guys, the film, yay. And can't wait to meet you. And good luck for the rest. And have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.